Madam Speaker. I just want to acknowledge the previous member's speech at the beginning of my speech, and as I mentioned in the general debate last week, just acknowledge as well the people of Tasman, and particularly just want to further acknowledge those who have suffered so much, and particularly the family of Peter Lyons, who so sadly lost his life in the floods. And we have more rain forecast for next week, and it would be devastating to have another rain event. And so we are all working really hard at the moment, and I know the people on the ground to do their best to be prepared. We do encourage people to have a plan and be prepared should we face another rain event on Thursday. Madam Speaker, I want to focus on the local issue today that is top of mind for the people of Nelson, which is the rebuild of Nelson Hospital and the resourcing of Nelson Hospital. Yesterday, Health New Zealand released their review into Nelson Hospital, which came about as a result of senior doctors, nurses, patients, administrative staff and many others speaking about the concerns they had about the resourcing into the care at Nelson Hospital. Madam Speaker, I want to reflect on the commentary, particularly from the senior doctors that came out yesterday. Huge disappointment in so many parts of this review. It is essentially a plan about a plan. The senior doctors commented yesterday that they have been telling the hospital for a long time what the issues were, but instead of actually coming up with a plan to fix the issues and the investment needed to fix the issues, all Health New Zealand did was outline the issues that have already been raised, particularly by the senior doctors. So my question to the Minister and my question to the government, and what I will be pushing for as the local MP, is where is the investment to hire the doctors and hire the nurses that we need to ensure that Nelson Hospital is properly resourced? Because, Madam Speaker, this report yesterday is very, very clear that it is not resourced enough to support the people of Nelson, especially in the context of a hiring freeze that the report clearly outlined said made it very, very difficult for the hospital to actually hire the staff that we need to deliver care in Nelson. The next thing I want to talk about in regards to Nelson Hospital is the business case that has quietly been released around the plan to rebuild Nelson Hospital. Now, there's a part in it that is very concerning to us here in the Labour Party, and that is the over-reliance of 15% of care being provided in the community. Now, there is a place for care in the community, but again, where is the investment for it? Now, Madam Speaker, people commented, here's some of the comments I'm just going to quote from the people of Nelson who are very concerned about this. Wendy, who I know personally, who lost her husband, Dave, earlier this year, and my thoughts are with her family, has said, I've been in this situation. We had community nurses for wound care and hospice nurses for pain control, support workers for personal care. All were amazing, but it also required an at-home caregiver who was able to give extra help, such as subcut pain relief, monitoring the medication, being there 24/7 to support with some limited respite. Not all family members have the skills or ability to manage an in-home patient. To expect them to do so is putting both the caregiver and the patient at risk. Respite in a care home facility is only partly met by government, with the balance, $98 a day approximately, being met by the patient. And there were many comments on my page like that from concerned Nelsonians who are concerned that this build from this government will not have the required number of beds. Care will be pushed into the community with no plan and no investment to do that. Now, the final thing is that our plan was to build an acute services building that would have ensured the emergency department, the ICU and the theatres were in a building that was able to cope if the Alpine fault ruptured at 8. Now, in their business case, there is no acute services building. The emergency department, the ICU, the theatres will stay exactly where they are. The earthquake resilience will be moderate. It could be days or weeks if the Alpine fault goes in Nelson under National's plan before the emergency department and the ICU and the theatres are working. That is disgraceful. No commentary from the other side. Not good enough for the people of Nelson. If the Alpine fault goes, our emergency department, our theatres and our ICU needs to operate. And we have a commitment from Labour that we will make sure that happens. We absolutely did. Deliver our plan rather than your substandard, downgraded plan, your downgraded plan for the people of Nelson.
Has expired. I call Jenny Marcroft.
Gee, Barbara seems to be like calling out the names as quick as possible.
Rachel looked like she wanted to lay hands. Throw hands, sorry, not lay hands. She looked like she wanted to throw hands there for a second over that hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, well, considering Nelson's been the region that they want to sit there and pit Dunedin against.
Well, you know, I had a look at that report. Yeah, that's stretched. And also, yeah, Rachel is right about it being an earthquake risk. It's I think 2 of their buildings have undergone earthquake strengthening. But yeah, the report around that was not looking good. Basically, they could have fallen over in a big quake.
Yeah. Pretty concerning.
And you've got all these cuts going on, you know. That's not good when you need a new hospital. And it's not good when you've got staff at Nelson Hospital saying that they're getting demoralised because they're unable to see patients because there's insufficient inpatient bed capacity.
Yeah, that's and that's something certainly concerning about.
Yeah, I mean, the population of Nelson has actually grown quite a bit, and it's most of those people that have come in are elderly, age 75 and over, so they need that care.
Yeah, considering Nelson's one of those retirement cities to go to, similar to Tauranga.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that's, well, can't call it now, but, but like, it's basically been the place where you go to retire because it's nice, it's warm, it's got good weather, the climate's, it suits well. I mean, and I had a friend who used to live there, and it's the place she chose to bring up her kid because it's the place she remembered always having a happy place.
Well, now it's a flood and earthquake risk.
Yeah.
That desperately needs funding. These health targets that Simeon Brown put in, right? How do you think they're not going to be able to meet those health targets? They haven't got enough beds.
No. He'll probably be one that's like, why isn't the hospital running at 200% capacity? What do you mean that can't be done?
Yeah, I don't know. You want to put elderly people down the hallway? I mean, be my guest.
God, my grandma has been put in that boat. Oh, not in the most... Not the last year rounds of hospital visits, but the ones that happened in her early 90s, that did happen. Now that she's at the point where I think they're too scared to do it because of her age, so she tends to get very good treatment when she does turn up to hospital because, like, oh my God, there's this person who's nearly 100. And there's that feeling goes, that's evident every time she goes to the hospital.
Yeah, but this is not good. You need that hospital to keep the local economy growing, and we're looking at Nelson that produces a shit ton of food, and a lot of those farmers are elderly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, a lot of those horticulturalists are elderly folk, right?
Yeah.
So, this is going to have a knock-on effect to the economy. The fact that with the roads are damaged. Now you've got the hospital. Now you've got farms that are flooded out. This is not. Yeah, this is going to send the price of food rocketing through the sky.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to Jenny Marcroft.
Yeah.
This is a great time we get to see MPs.